Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here. And today I have an incredibly important guest. It is around 2 p.m. Monday afternoon in Kyiv, Ukraine, and about 6 a.m. here Monday in Chicago Central Time on February 28th. And I just want to mention that for context here, because with me here is Inna Sovsun, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you, thank you. She is a member of Ukraine's parliament. And I'm not 100% sure where you are, but I believe you're in and around Kyiv. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Yes, yes. And we had some back and forth for the last couple of days as you've obviously had to move due to the situation and all of that. And I want to start with that first things first. I mean, we're here in the United States getting mixed reports from the last 24 hours or so that there has been fighting that's still been going on. But this past night, we're also hearing reports that Kyiv was rather quiet, I think in preparation for the talks that we'll talk about. So can you tell us the situation at the moment, how you and your people are holding up, and how is President Zelensky and his family as well? Are they still safe?
So I will try to explain briefly how the situation looks like. So for your audience to understand is that Putin did attack Ukraine from 3 different directions at the same time. He did attack from the south, from Crimea, which he annexed from Ukraine in 2014. He did attack from the east, from the Russian border, trying to take over the cities of Sumy and Kharkiv. Kharkiv being the second biggest city in Ukraine, my native city. Actually, I grew up there. It's just 40 kilometers from the border, and it's a 2 million people city. And then from the north, they are attacking from the Belarusian territory. So basically, they have taken over Belarus as of now, and they're trying to attack from them. The first night of the war, they started bombing Ukrainian military targets, initially with the goal of making sure that they destroy our aviation and our storages with weapons. But they failed to do so because Ukrainian counter-air defense systems did work. But they did hit several targets, but not as many as they expected. But the initial goal in terms of Kyiv, it was extremely important for them to take over Kyiv within the first 24 hours. In order to do that, they were planning to take over the airport, a smaller military airport, a bit north of the city, about 70 kilometers north from the city. And so they tried to do that, but they failed to capture that airport. But the goal, the understanding was that they would capture that airport and then would land troops on the ground. There were about 17 military planes with soldiers ready to fly to Ukraine. But because the fightings around that Hostomel airport were so intense for the first 2 nights, I'm really scared to see how that area looks like right now. But I know that there was intense battles over there for the 2 days at least. So the Russians were trying to take that airport, but they failed, and because of that, they couldn't move large numbers of soldiers right away, right close to Kyiv. So after that, they started trying to encircle the city from different directions on tanks. Those brigades are just they are like coming from all different sides. You never know when the new reports will appear. Like here, they are there. It doesn't seem very well coordinated, though. I'm not a military strategist, though, but it seems to me slightly strange what they're doing is because they, like for instance, the first day of the war, they one Russian tank entered the city of Kyiv from the north, from the area where I actually live. Normally, I'm at my friend's place right now, but I live in the north of the city, and one tank entering a 4 million city. So you can imagine that tank was sent on a suicidal mission. It was blown up like 30 minutes after that. And that was obvious, even for myself with no military experience. It was kind of clear that Ukrainians armed forces and territorial defense would blow that tank up, which they did. So I'm just wondering what was happening in the mind of the guys sitting in those tanks. Like they're entering a city, a hostile city, in one tank without no support. They were just basically sent there to die, just like many other soldiers that are being sent here to Ukraine right now, because the number of casualties on the Russian side is enormous. It's over 5,000 in the first 5 days of the war. So you can make some comparisons with other wars that Russia was taking part in, and the numbers there were so much. So those are the numbers that typically they would get in a few years of war, but those are the numbers that they have, the number of casualties in just 5 days of war against Ukraine. So as of now, the situation is, I wouldn't say stable. It is more quiet in the city right now. We do hear the air raid sirens now and then. We didn't hear major explosions. The major things happening in the city, and we did have the curfew imposed on 5 in the evening Saturday, up until 8 in the morning Monday. And so people were just staying like where they are. Like I said, I'm staying at my friend's place right now because they have a private house. So in case of the air raid, we just go downstairs to the basement. So I don't have to go like many floors down if I stayed at my place. But for me, that also means I haven't been home for 5 days, which is, again, like I really hate Putin for that. So the biggest things happening in Kyiv now, and I just finish on that, the groups of infiltrators that they sent to Kyiv for 2 reasons mainly. One is to set up the targets for their missiles, so they put in the targets, and then the army the missiles launchers know better how to attack. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing the word incorrectly. I'm not a military expert, but I guess you know what I mean.
Yes.
And second of all, is they are just creating lots of tensions on the streets. Like they start randomly shooting at people, and never know where that would come from. We had this terrific, terrible incident when they just started shooting at a car with a family in it, and there were a mom, dad, and 3 kids. And one of the daughters, one of the girls, was killed, and 2 others are in the hospital right now. As of now, as of yesterday evening, 16 kids were killed, and 300 Ukrainians overall. So the Ukrainian defense, territorial defense, the army and the police, the National Guard, they are working hard to make sure that the city is free from those infiltrators, but we don't know how many of them there are. But lots of them are being killed here on the streets in Kyiv. The situation is a bit worse in Kharkiv. Just 5 minutes before we started talking, I was just looking at video where from Kharkiv, where they shooting what are called grads. You can check how that looks like. Those I'll make sure I get the English word correctly. So it looks just terrible what I'm seeing, and it's extremely scary that they are using this. This is my native city. I feel so much pain for those people. So grads, I'm double checking the English wording. The multiple rocket launcher.
Yeah, grenades. Do you mean grenade?
No, grads are multiple rocket launcher. So that's what it is.
Gotcha.
There are information is unclear from Kharkiv as of now, but they say that there are lots of civilian casualties as of now. And then on the south, the situation is tense, but more or less stable. They haven't managed to capture large territories, and they didn't capture a single big city in Ukraine as of now. We are fighting back. We're not giving up any cities to them. Am I giving the sense of how the situation looks?
Absolutely. I mean, and it's just nobody wants to see war in their lifetime, and it's absolutely, we're just watching in shock. I think the entire world is, and on top of all of this too, I mean, what we've also been getting reports of are relentless cyber attacks as well against your infrastructure and all of that, trying to knock out communication systems, all these kinds of things. And I'm just amazed that I'm able to, sit here, across the world and talk to you on the internet right now. How is the infrastructure, across Ukraine holding up? Not just the internet, but just infrastructure in general. How are the supplies going on? Obviously, you've got internet right now. Is this is this stable? Has it been stable? Obviously, we lost communication for a while. We had reports that the internet was out, and I was just hoping it was that, and you were okay. And sure enough, here we are. And now we're also getting reports that Elon Musk of Starlink says that he's unlocking all of his satellites to help you out. And is that helping, or is that not yet a thing? Are you waiting on equipment? Like, can you just give us an understanding of that as well?
So the infrastructure is working. There are troubles with connections in some areas, particularly the ones where the major battles are taking place. But it is more or less stable as of now. Regarding the cyber attacks, there have been many cyber attacks in the past couple of weeks leading to the war.
Right.
Right now, another story that you probably should follow, given your background and your focus, is this: that the anonymous community have launched this major attack on Russian websites, and we are watching that like with great admiration and thank you if anyone involved in that is listening to this. Thank you on behalf of all the Ukrainians. This is extremely helping. So as of now, the cyber attacks on the Ukrainian websites, we don't see too many of those. So it is better than it used to be. But so actually now we are fighting back in terms of cyber warfare to a very big extent. So this is getting a bit better, and yeah, so it's not as bad.
Yeah, and we've been getting reports of that, as well as intelligence communities, like the cyber warfare side of intelligence communities around the globe in support of launching cyber attacks against Russia, to the point where the Kremlin's website went down, multiple websites went down, Russian TV was hacked to play your national anthem. It's so,
it's a good one.
Right, it's a small moment of a smile when the aggressor takes it in the teeth like that, I think. But
I think, you know what, if any one of those people doing that, listening to that, playing Ukrainian national anthem is great, kudos to that. But I think what is even more needed is just to put information on Russian television about the actual number of casualties of Russian soldiers here in Ukraine, because they are mothers and fathers. They need to know that their kids are being sent to die here. Right. And the only way to stop this is for them just to make sure that Putin is no more. And right. That is for them to decide whether they are scared or whether they want to save their kids. Right. So if anyone is listening, that would be great. Please do that. That would be, because the Russian people are so much within the realm of this propaganda machine that it's just, it's just very scary. Right. So let's do that.
Yeah, and we're also getting reports that there have been mass arrests in Russia as Russian citizens have been taking to the streets in support of Ukraine, over Vladimir Putin. And I think that's something that I don't think the Russian government was really expecting. And in that vein, one of the things that obviously our side of the world woke up to this morning is that it's been agreed upon that Ukraine and Russia are supposed to be meeting today, if it hasn't started already. I know it's 2 p.m. your time on the Belarusian border. Do you think any agreement with Russia can be trusted? Do you think it's safe for your diplomats to do this? Should they be doing it online? What are your thoughts on that? What are President Zelensky's thoughts on that as well?
Before I proceed to that, I'm just I kind of want your audience to understand the general feeling here in Ukraine, and of course everyone is extremely pissed at what is happening, including myself, but also everyone is just so organized, and everyone and this organization of resistance against Putin is so overwhelming, and you can see it on so many levels here, I've been telling it so many times. Like, my boyfriend is with the army, which I expected because he was with the army before and he rejoined. My dad signed up for the volunteer territorial defense. Wow. My friends are joining the army territorial defense, or they volunteer, something like that. But then we're also seeing just random acts of courage on behalf of different Ukrainians. And there was this one case at the very first day of the war, when the Russian warship was trying to take over the island of Zmyiny, the Snake Island, around in the Black Sea. I don't know if you have seen the story, but it's just an amazing story, and I will just explain this before I proceed to what I was planning to say. So the Russian warship was trying to take over that island to use it as a base for further invasion into the south of Ukraine. And they were talking on the radio to the defenders of the to the people standing there, Ukrainian guards on that island. They said, like, we are Russian warship. We are here to take over the land. Please surrender. And then the guards on the Ukrainian side say, like, Russian warship, fuck yourself. And that's basically the general attitude. And this phrase, like Russian warship, fuck yourself, is just going viral everywhere. We are seeing like Georgian ships all over the world refusing to fuel Russian ships using this phrase, and everyone else. So right now, when some members, and I'm telling this in reference to this talks, when someone asked some of the members of the delegation, like, what if Putin asks you to surrender? Then the answer was, well, he will go in the same direction as the Russian warship, which is understandable. So the Russians want us to surrender. We will not. It's just impossible. There is not a single there is not a single person in the world who can make this whole resistance stop. So we are hopeful, but we don't believe a word Putin is saying. Every time he opens his mouth, he is lying. But we do want the war to stop. But we are not surrendering. We are not giving our territory, which I think is understandable. Just imagine, well, in an surreal world, if Canada started bombing the United States cities and then suggested, like, let's meet on the border and decide, like, on the terms of the truce and how you surrender. That just makes no sense. Well, first of all, Canada wouldn't bomb the United States.
Well, the Canadians are a little too polite for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they would say, like, oh, we are sorry. But yeah, that's about it. So we'll see how that goes. I'm really sorry now. I'm getting phone calls from other TV channel.
Yeah, no problem. Then in that sense, I'll skip all the other questions that I had, but I just one last thing. Is there anything else that essentially you want to tell the world as we are watching you just fiercely defend your country? Is there anything that you want to tell the world, my listeners, my followers, all that kind of stuff? The floor is yours.
Yes, we are asking now, like here speaking to the American audience, is three things that we're always asking from the international community. Help us establish a no-fly zone over Ukraine, so that the Russian rockets and launches stop bombing our cities. Please make sure that there are full-scale sanctions against Russia, and by full-scale I mean just full trade embargo with Russia. Anyone who is still trading with Russia is providing them with money with which they are buying weapons, with which they are killing our children. So please do that. And number three, more weapons. We need more weapons to fight those people on the ground. So please do that, and we shall win. The question is just how soon we shall do that, and with your help, with your support, we shall do that sooner. So if you're in the United States and you're listening to this, call to your congressman, write an email, go to a rally in support of Ukraine, and do voice those demands on the Ukrainian side.
And with that, thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy and you have other interviews, and please stay safe. We are with you. The world loves Ukraine, and that's the truth.
Thank you so much.
So thank you. Inna Sovsun, thank you so much, and good luck.
Good luck. Bye-bye.